years ago. They didn't go far enough away from where tourists and the expanding African population, just the demographic bomb that's happening, is impinging upon their way of life very, very horribly. There are parts of Tanzania, if they were 500 miles south, they could have been in one of the largest national parks in Africa, the Selous. If they were in the middle of it, they might not have been endangered this way, but because they were the remnants of all of us growing up, I believe, in the Rift Valley, they stuck around too long in a place that is too close to civilization and an expanding demographic nightmare.
So I hate to ask this, but and you don't say this in the film, but is there an actual projection of how long the Hadza can survive or can be expected to survive?
Well, we did the film in association with, and you saw the man David Banks, who's the head of the Nature Conservancy's African program. We're trying very hard to create both a animal corridor and, in effect, a buffer zone that will protect the Hadza from the Toga cattle coming up. You know, I think you could go like this with a coin and say, are they going to survive with the assistance of outside organizations to secure their land, not just on paper, but with protection and actual boundaries that are meaningful? Right now, Dowdy Peterson, who you saw in the film, is going out and they are putting in with the 86-year-old, I think, man, Dr. James Woodburn, whose 1964 documentary we used the black and white footage from. They are putting out boundary markers on the land that the Hadza have been deeded, these big posts that are painted red in concrete. But those are only as good as whether the government and the tribes, who will maybe listen to the government, maybe not, will be willing to leave the Hadza and their land alone. And it's scary. That coin is flipping in the air right now, kind of like in this, you know, it's spinning. And
I saw in the movie that it was estimated about 300 Hadza still practice the hunting-gathering way of life. The other approximately 700 live in Mongolia, where they can't hunt, can't gather, and some of them lead tourists on faux safaris or hunting trips. But in that time, we understand the number of Hadza practicing the traditional lifestyle has dwindled to about 200, and that's only in the past 2.5 years. So the demographic trend is not good.
They used to blend away in the bush and run away, and they had a huge amount of land where they could do it. They can't do that anymore, and they've started to gain both a political understanding of how they are interrelated in the Tanzanian system, and if they don't protect the land that they have when it's really, when they're forced to confront or one of their own members have been killed, they've realized they can't run away, and the men are fighting back. They also are getting arrested in their traditional land for poaching on their own land. So it's, on one hand, the government is saying, yeah, we're going to give you some rights, and on the other, actually it's the northwest corner of the traditional Hadza land, right near the Serengeti, there's a, I don't know, 100,000 acre game preserve where we could pay, if Sharon wanted to, $50,000 and go hunt elephants or whatever big animals are out there. And the Hadza are getting arrested.
Only if I get an AK-47.
Right. The Hadza are getting arrested for hunting on that land because the Massawa Game Preserve, if you pay this $50,000 fee, the government will put out soldiers to protect the game preserve for the hunters who go out there. So it's a system of value where someone on the coast is getting a lot of money and they are willing to protect that area, but they are not willing to either recognize the rights of the Hadza on it or to protect the Hadza on their own lands.